This movie, Helpless, is South Korean's psychological thriller. In this story of Munho, a compassionate veterinary doctor in Seoul, whose seemingly stable and content life begins to unravel on the brink of his wedding. His fiancée, Kagyeong, vanishes mysteriously during a short stop at the airport. Munho had left her in the car momentarily, only to return and find her gone. With no answers from her phone and no leads except her hairpin found in a nearby gas station restroom, a sense of dread takes root in Munho's heart. His desperation grows as the police treat it as a standard missing persons case, suggesting she may have left of her own accord. But Munho knows Kagyeong wouldn't walk away without explanation, especially not days before their wedding. The fear of abduction gives way to deeper confusion when he visits her ransacked apartment and learns all her belongings are missing. What if she ran away? His suspicion grows when his banker friend informs him that Kagyeong filed for bankruptcy 4 years ago due to an $80,000 debt from a tiny initial amount. When the friend called her about it, she had hung up. Munho is blindsided. None of this was ever shared with him. He starts replaying moments from their relationship, especially her hesitation when he proposed. His uncertainty grows, but love refuses to let him give up. Searching for answers, Munho learns from her office that she had stopped showing up. His assistant helps him dig into her school background, finally revealing an address in her supposed hometown. Shocked at how little he truly knows about her, Munho reflects on the times he had wanted to visit her hometown, only for her to divert him with excuses. At the bank where she had declared bankruptcy, Munho uncovers a disturbing truth. The woman who claimed the insurance payout under Kagyeong's name wasn't the same person in the photo he shows. Yet all the documents matched, same name, ID, history. His fiancée had assumed someone else's identity. The woman Munho loved had lied about everything, from her name to her past. His world shatters. Even her family is unaware of her whereabouts. Driven to uncover the truth, he enlists Jong, a disgraced ex-cop. Jong investigates Kagyeong's old address, her dermatologist, acquaintances. There's no trace of Munho's fiancée. Eventually, Jong theorizes that the real Kagyeong may have disappeared 2 years ago, after which Munho's fiancée took over her life, possibly even killing her to do so. Munho is horrified at the implication but refuses to believe the woman he loved is a murderer. Munho travels to Jecheon, the real Kagyeong's hometown, only to find silence and suspicion. After a confrontation with a local, his emotional breakdown gains him the sympathy of a couple who admit they knew the real Kagyeong. They say she was harassed by loan sharks and was close to someone named Hyun-sik. Meanwhile, Jong learns that Kagyeong's mother's death, officially deemed an accident, was likely murder, and the timeline aligns too closely with the fake Kagyeong's activities. Back in Seoul, Munho finally admits to his family that the woman he loved was a fraud. His father is furious, while Munho drowns in grief. But still, he needs to know who she really was. Munho tracks down Cha Jong-sun, his fiancée's real name, through her former workplace, Cowan. There, he learned she stole a list of 122 client names in 2008 and used it to assume identities. Munho is devastated to discover she was previously married and likely took a sick leave the same week Kagyeong's mother died. Then comes a phone call. It's her. He pleads with her to speak, to come back, but she remains silent before hanging up. He spends the night calling her, only to collapse from exhaustion. Still, he pushes forward, visiting her ex-husband Seunju, who reveals the trauma of Cha's life, an abusive, debt-ridden childhood, a mother abducted and killed by loan sharks, and a marriage that crumbled under repeated harassment. Seunju explains she only wanted freedom and gave her everything he could before divorcing her. He provides the address of a friend who sheltered Cha. That friend reveals that Cha was abducted by the same loan sharks after her divorce, mirroring her mother's fate. When she finally appeared a year later, she was destroyed, physically and emotionally. The friend helped her recover and sent her to Seoul, where she lived in Cheongpa. The friend adds that Cha returned once more, on the exact date Kagyeong's mother died, which clears Cha of that murder. But the next revelation devastates Munho. Cha had a baby in 2007, who died just before she was hospitalized. This loss, layered atop her lifelong trauma, left her broken. Munho is overwhelmed. He weeps, mourning her pain, and begins to understand that the woman he loved wasn't a cold criminal, but a human being pushed beyond her limits. Just as he's ready to stop searching, Hyen's sick, Kagyeong's friend, calls back. She reveals Kagyeong had prank calls and disappearing emails before she vanished, classic signs of being stalked. Then comes the final piece, a selfie of Kagyeong with a new friend, Munho's fiancée, Cha. Everything clicks. Cha befriended Kagyeong, studied her life, and then killed her to assume her identity. Her plan had worked perfectly until the bankruptcy call exposed the identity she had stolen. Sensing danger, she vanished. Munho is heartbroken anew but determined to stop her before she kills again. He and Jung track down the list Cha stole and identify another potential victim, a lonely woman named Lim. They discover Cha had already befriended her. However, Lim is also being stalked by someone else, a harmless man who had silently admired her. This accidental stalker likely scared Cha away. Then comes a shocking twist. Munho's assistant mentions a client named Minhee who reported the same signs, missing mails, prank calls, and is traveling with a new female friend. Munho recognizes the pattern instantly and rushes to the station. When he finds Minhee and shows her Cha's photo, she confirms the woman is her travel companion. Cha appears, sees Minhee backing away in fear, and then locks eyes with Munho. She knows she's been caught. Her calm breaks. Munho's first question is simple. Are you okay? He begs her to explain, but she simply confesses she did everything. She calls herself trash and tells him to let her go. He asks if she ever loved him. Her response, no, breaks his heart. Still, he tells her to stop hurting others and to live her life. As she walks away, Jong follows her. She notices and runs, the entire world chasing her. Police, guards, memories. She flees until she reaches a rooftop. Munho arrives, shouting that butterflies aren't meant to be caught, a reference to something she once said. But Cha knows it's over. Her only chance at love is gone. She jumps. In her final seconds, she imagines herself held by Munho, finally at peace. And movie concludes.